Major announcement today from the Masters tournament. Chairman Fred Ridley in a statement saying that Augusta National will invite those eligible under their previously existing criteria to compete in the 2023 Masters tournament, meaning that 16 LIV golfers will be in the field if they choose to be this coming April. This is Golf Central.
Golf Central, brought to you by Callaway Golf.
Hello and welcome. I'm Rich Lerner, and it is a significant day in our game. The possibility that those who defected to the rival LIV Golf League would be excluded from the Masters tournament was believed to be a strong deterrent for professional golfers in joining the startup Saudi-backed enterprise. But for at least this year, the Masters tournament has decided they will make no changes to their invitation criteria. In a strongly worded statement released just after 10 a.m. today, Chairman Fred Ridley expressed disappointment in the state of professional golf, but also a desire to make sure the field at the Masters includes all the best players in the world. Here is the statement. From its inception in 1934, the purpose of the Masters tournament has been to benefit the game of golf. Each April, the Masters assembles the world's leading golfers to compete for the green jacket and a place in history. It provides a stage for fans to experience dramatic moments of competition at the highest level and promotes the sport domestically and abroad. Through the years, legends of the game have competed and won at Augusta National Golf Club. Champions like Gene Sarazen, Byron Nelson, Ben Hogan, Sam Snead, Arnold Palmer, Gary Player, Tom Watson, Jack Nicklaus, and Tiger Woods have become heroes to golfers of all ages. They have inspired some to follow in their footsteps and so many others to play and enjoy the game. They have supported the sport and thus all who benefit from it. They have shown respect for those who came before them and blazed a trail for future generations. Golf is better because of them. Regrettably, recent actions have divided men's professional golf by diminishing the virtues of the game and the meaningful legacies of those who built it. Although we are disappointed in these developments, our focus is to honor the tradition of bringing together a preeminent field of golfers this coming April. Therefore, as invitations are sent this week, we will invite those eligible under our current criteria to compete in the 2023 Masters tournament. As we've said in the past, we look at every aspect of the tournament each year, and any modifications or changes to invitation criteria for future tournaments will be announced in April. We have reached a seminal point in the history of our sport. At Augusta National, we have faith that golf, which has overcome many challenges through the years, will endure again. That from Chairman Ridley. Here are the 16, roughly a sixth of the field, perhaps a bit more in some years, many with a legitimate chance, you would think. Cam Smith nearly won it last year and has 3 top 5 finishes. Dustin Johnson appears to be capable. And like the Open at St. Andrews, it sets up a LIV Golf versus PGA Tour Sunday drama. Those highlighted in yellow, those 6 are all past champions. Joined now by Golf Channel reporter Rex Hoggard, who has intensively covered this story for the last couple of years. Rex, what's your initial reaction?
Well, Rich, this goes back to the last couple of days at the PNC Championship. You and I were both there, but it was a hot topic on the range for the reasons that you just pointed out reading that statement. They know when the invitations were going to be set out, and I don't think there's going to be any surprise really across the broad spectrum of players, both on the PGA Tour side and the LIV Golf side, simply because Augusta National didn't have to make a decision. 2 of the players I talked to pointed out a couple of different things. One, the world ranking element to this. If you kind of look the way this is shaking out, and it doesn't seem like LIV Golf is any closer to getting world ranking points now than they were at this point last year, it looks like most of those players that they would have to worry about, of those 16, are going to rotate out. The other part of the conversation is the 6 players who have the exemptions for winning here before. They come back every single year. That's part of the perk of being a Masters champion. I had one player point out to me that just this morning after the announcement was made, it makes sense because what Augusta doesn't want is us talking about who's not there the week of the tournament. And if any of those 6 champions, Dustin Johnson, certainly Phil Mickelson, Patrick Reed, aren't there, we're going to spend all week talking about it, and that's what they don't want.
Rex, how, if at all, does this affect the PGA Tour and Augusta National with respect to ongoing legal challenges?
Well, you have two of them right now on both sides of the pond. So there's one in the UK that will be decided probably in February, long before we get to the Masters. And then, of course, the second lawsuit that's in the Northern California District of the U.S. District Court. That's not going to be decided at least until January 2024 at the earliest. Those probably aren't going to be impacted by this. And again, this kind of dovetails with the idea that whatever's going to happen between those two organizations, and it is worth pointing out that as you read that statement, Augusta National used very, very strong language, talking about golf being divided at the moment and golf being at a seminal moment. Those are the two words that stood out to me, because beyond the legal challenges, and certainly Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods have voiced this over the last few weeks, there has to be some way for these organizations to come together, and this seems like Augusta National stepping in to some degree in doing that.
Rex, the chairman in his statement leaves open the possibility that modifications or changes to their invitation criteria will be looked at, as they are every year, and announced in April. What does that say to you, if anything at all, with respect to LIV?
It could. I mean, going forward, certainly that's something they're going to look at. And as you pointed out, this is something that Augusta National always does. And certainly the other three majors are going to factor into this. The U.S. Open and the Open Championship have both addressed the idea that they are open. So it's going to be difficult, if possible at all, to keep the LIV players out. The PGA of America is a little bit of a different conversation, because as Seth Wall, the CEO of the PGA, said earlier this year at the championship, that there is a membership issue involved, that you do have to be a member of the PGA of America to participate in that championship. So the conversation is going to come down to exactly what does Augusta National want to do in this fight. And I think right now they don't really have to do anything going forward, because, as I pointed out, the world ranking is not going to move. Now, as far as changing any criteria, I think there's probably bigger conversations that Augusta National will have. Certainly we look at the fall events and how they'll fall into the hierarchy. Will those winners continue to get invitations to the Masters? My guess is they'll take a harder look at that than they will at LIV players.
Rex, from the start, observers have said if LIV golfers cannot get into the Masters, to the majors, then it cannot survive. Is this a win for LIV? Why or why not?
I don't know if it's necessarily a win for LIV. I will say, to your point, though, even the players on the PGA Tour side, I think Justin Thomas has talked about this, and certainly there have been other players who have been vocal, that if you don't have a Dustin Johnson at a major championship, certainly at the Masters where he is a past champion, that is going to be a problem. That everyone can point to Dustin Johnson and Cam Smith and many of the other players who will get invitations to the Masters as some of the best players in the world, and that something will fall flat. There will be something missing at these major championships if you don't have, by definition, the best fields.
Finally, does this make it likelier or less likely that there will be a peace agreement between LIV and the PGA Tour, or does this announcement have no impact at all on what the PGA Tour does?
I don't think in the short term it's going to have any impact, because, again, Tiger and Rory have pointed this out pretty clearly. Even Greg Norman on the LIV Golf side has pointed it out. There's ongoing litigation, multiple lawsuits, both here and in the UK. And so long before we ever get to a point where the two sides can actually sit down and have some sort of meaningful conversation, those two lawsuits are going to have to come to pass. And certainly Rory and Tiger have been very vocal about Greg Norman being a part of LIV Golf, and that there's probably going to be a non-starter. So I don't know if this in and of itself moves the needle forward, but certainly, just like Rory and Tiger have done over the last few weeks, it's at least cracked the door that you can have a conversation.
Rex Hoggard, thank you. We appreciate your time.